airport's under siege. One reporter stands.
We're losing radar! Get backup power now!
Tower, we need evac right now. They grounded America. I'm clearing the runway.
Terminal 0, in theaters now.
Patriots were witnessing the most cynical political hostage-taking in American history. Day 36 of the Democrats' shutdown, and they've just broken an all-time record. Federal workers can't pay mortgages. Food stamp recipients are getting half their benefits. Air traffic controllers are warning of closed airspace, and planes are literally falling out of the sky. Why? Because Democrats would rather watch America burn than let President Trump govern. They claim it's about health care subsidies, but we all know the truth. This is about power, pure and simple. They're willing to destroy millions of lives just to score political points, and what you're about to see will infuriate you. And as we wrap up 2025, it's time to reflect. Uncertainty isn't temporary anymore. It's our new reality. Waiting for normal isn't a plan. It's a gamble. And for over a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped Americans protect their families by diversifying with gold and silver. Real wealth isn't digital. It is physical. It's lasting, and it's yours. No one knows what 2026 brings, but in uncertain times, precious metals provide stability. This holiday season, surrounded by family, remember, the best gift isn't under the tree. It is peace of mind. Noble Gold delivers that peace 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future. Visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And find out if you can get the 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts by calling that number, 877-646-5347. And tell my friends over there that Gary Franchi said hello. So the press briefing today was quite interesting, almost prophetic, in fact, because now we are seeing plane crashes, TSA agents walking off the job, horrific visuals in Kentucky, in Honolulu, a UPS flight bound for Honolulu, Hawaii. It's happening right now. And this is what the press secretary said today.
Reopen the modes. The administration is encouraging Democrats to reopen the federal government. Chaos and disruption to our air traffic control system in the United States of America stops. It is ridiculous that we have even gotten to this place and that the Democrats have continued to shut down the government with 35 days, our air traffic controllers continuing to work unpaid, every single major airline in our country coming out and begging the Democrats to please reopen the government. And you had a Democrat staffer who was quoted, I believe in Politico a few weeks back, saying, short of planes falling out of the sky, we are not going to reopen the government. That is a reckless and dangerous statement from someone who didn't want to put their name on that statement. But we know it came from the Democrat Party. And I think we're very clear. We want to reopen the government so we can resume travel in the safest and most efficient way possible, especially as we head into the busiest travel season of the month. We have Thanksgiving in a few weeks. And so Americans across the country need to make it very clear to their Democrat representatives that we want this government to be reopened so we can resume safe and efficient travel. Fran.
Short of planes falling out of the sky. And then we have this. Several sources confirmed the plane involved in the crash is a 34-year-old UPS MD-11, which took off from Louisville to Honolulu. There is the shot of the horror. We'll get to the TSA agents in a moment. Here's another shot of that plane. Supposedly slammed right into a petroleum recycling facility. Fireball. Up close angle, UPS flight 2976 in Louisville. Nick Sortor posting that. Secretary Sean Duffy, heartbreaking images coming out of Kentucky. UPS cargo flight 2976 crashed around 5:15 Eastern after takeoff from Louisville. Muhammad Ali International Airport en route to Honolulu. Aircraft was MD-11, McDonnell Douglas MD-11. Join me in prayer for the Louisville community and flight crew impacted by this horrific crash. NTSB and FAA News are mobilizing to get on the ground and will lead the investigation. Now, I'm not saying that this is due to the shutdown, But these are the visuals. These are certainly the visuals that are on the horizon. And isn't it wild? The press secretary literally said, short of planes falling out of the sky. In Houston, almost all of the TSA workers decided they were sick of the crap and not getting paid, so they all left. Look at this. TSA agents in Houston.
Damn, ain't no TSA. This shit crazy.
TSA in Houston decided they were done and gone. And now passengers stranded.
This is crazy.
We're going to get to more of that in a moment. Here's another shot of the plane crash.
Hold on. Bro, get the fuck away from here. Like, turn around. Bro, hold on. I think it's gonna crash, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Damn, they're dead. They are dead, bro.
Those are the visuals, my friend. Here's another one. Look at this angle.
¡Oh, my God!
Ay,
¡Corre
pinga.
para atrás, papi! ¿Viste? Te lo estoy diciendo, Dios mío.
Ay, pinga.
¡Ay, Dios mío!
Pero qué pinga.
¡Ay!
Vamos a ver.
¡Papi, cuidado!
Espérate.
¡Ay, Dios mío, señor!
No survivors. No survivors. The administration is encouraging Democrats to reopen the federal government so this chaos and disruption stops.
It's ridiculous. The administration is encouraging Democrats to reopen the federal government so this chaos and disruption to our air traffic control system in the United States of America stops. It is ridiculous that we have even gotten to this place and that the Democrats have continued to shut down the government with 35 days, our air traffic controllers continuing to work unpaid, every single major airline in our country coming out and begging the Democrats to please reopen the government. And you had a Democrat staffer who was quoted, I believe in Politico a few weeks back, saying, short of planes falling out of the sky, we are
Short of planes falling out of the sky. CNN exposing Democrats for shutting down the government. CNN, of all places. Jake Tapper, even.
It's fault. Democrats are the ones that are not voting to fund the government. Now, I understand why they're doing so. They're doing so because of health care, and they want to fight, and they want Republicans to negotiate, et cetera, et cetera. The messaging by Democrats around this shutdown has been sharper than I've seen Democrats on any issue in a long time. They have convinced voters, Democratic voters and independent voters, that it's the Republicans' fault. And just on the numbers, that might not be actually accurate. Democrats are the ones.
Might not be actually accurate, he says. No, it's decisively not accurate. Here we have this SNAP recipient 24 hours ago.
All need each other, go from having everything and to having nothing.
Joseph Cribb recently fell on hard times, saying he applied for SNAP just for the first time 2 months ago.
And they did award me food stamps, which I was very grateful for.
But when benefits didn't arrive, he found help from his neighbors instead.
When you find yourself on the other end of that, I don't know. We all need each other, yeah. Go from having everything and
I hope Chuck Schumer's watching, but of course he doesn't care about that guy. Here's another one. A Charlotte woman on Section 8 housing receives $1,000 a month in food stamps.
to rely on.
And between bills and food, now we're going to have to start making choices.
Carlicia Grice is one of more than 1.4 million North Carolinians who rely on SNAP benefits. She gets about $1,000 a month to feed her large family. But on Saturday, what happens next? It's been the only thing on her mind for the last few days.
Even that's not enough. And we're using cash to pay for food throughout the month, even going to pantries and just trying to make the ends meet because it's just not meeting.
SNAP benefits are set to expire on November 1st. The federal government, through the Agricultural Department.
She's using cash now. Must be something new for her. The Schumer shutdown is now the longest in history, says Senator Ted Cruz. Democrats are only keeping the government closed because they want to turn out their radicals for Election Day. Today, Republicans will vote for the 14th time to reopen the government for the American people.
Their radicals will say, we're going to vote later today. Republicans will all vote for the 14th time to reopen the government. I'm going to predict to you right now, the Democrats will vote no. They will say later today, keep the government shut. Why? Because it's Election Day, and they want to turn out their radicals. And if they actually allow the government to open up, they're afraid their radicals will stay home, and they'll lose Virginia and New Jersey, and maybe even the mayor's position for Comrade Madani in New York. And so the Democrats will keep the government shut down. Now, my hope is they lose those elections anyway, and then they come back Wednesday or Thursday or Friday and say, all right, enough is enough. Let's reopen the government. Hey, we're going to vote later.
Well, of course, that vote failed. The government is still closed. Here is more from the press secretary about the contingencies.
Need to understand the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment in the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP. But it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP beneficiary at home who needs that assistance, and the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government. The administration...
And I said this before. Once they release those funds, they're only going to last for about 3 weeks. So you're still going to have a huge gap from the time that those payments are released, from the time they actually get to the beneficiaries. And then they're going to run out. And then what? We're back at ground zero. So that's why they don't want to release them, because they're for emergency purposes only. And Democrats are holding this whole thing up. We're digging into a contingency fund that's supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. But this is none of that. This is political games. Well, I got a message here. Check this out. We got this from a pilot announcing some stunning news to passengers. But first, let's check in with this other clip from the press secretary about the nuclear option.
I think the president has been very realistic and strong in his position on the filibuster. He's been very vocal about it. I just spoke to him about it. He feels really strongly about this. Republicans need to play tough and they need to play smart. That's how the president feels. And we know that Democrats, if they are ever given a chance at power again in this city, they will absolutely take away the filibuster from the United States Senate. In fact, you had 49 Democrats who already voted to do this before. The only reason it did not move forward was because you had 2 Democrats who are no longer in office because they were run out of town by the far left radical base of their party. Wow. And so President Trump is quite clear on this. He wants to see Republicans move as many good pieces of legislation for our country forward in the next 3 years of his administration as they possibly can. And the filibuster is one means to doing that. I think the president has been very
Complete paralysis. That's where we're at right now. planes falling from the sky, people freaking out about SNAP benefits, and then we have this pilot stunning passengers. I have no idea what's going on. Listen to this.
So we're number 3 in our line. We're number 3 in our line, but there's 4 lines, and the controller's not. He's not really willing to tell anybody what their sequence is. So I don't have anything to tell you. I have no idea how long it's going to take to get off the ground. But again, we're number 3 in our line, so hopefully we're getting close.
I would never get in a plane right now if you paid me. Okay? The press secretary laying it out. The impacts of Democrats' disastrous government shutdown on air travel. A friend of mine in D.C. recently told me, he's like, you know what, Gary, you're smart for not coming out to D.C. right now. He had a friend who sat on the tarmac for 4 hours. 4 hours. Listen to this from the press secretary today.
We are now on day 35 of the Democrat government shutdown. The Democrats' obstructionism will break the record for the longest government shutdown in American history tonight. The Democrats are intentionally hurting American families, workers, and businesses with this shutdown to fight for free health care for illegal aliens and to appease their radical left-wing base. And it's a total disgrace. This past weekend, Americans traveling to weddings, funerals, vacations, and meetings faced significant flight disruptions at airports across the country because of staffing shortages. On Sunday alone, more than 5,000 flights traveling to and from U.S. airports were delayed. Since the Democrat shutdown began, 4 times as many staffing shortages have been reported at air traffic control facilities compared to last year. TSA checkpoint wait times ballooned past 3 hours at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport, with some passengers enduring up to 5 hours in line. At nearby William P. Hobby Airport in Texas, security wait times are routinely exceeding 1 hour. More than 13,000 air traffic controllers are continuing to work without pay. Because of the Democrats, these men and women who keep our airspace safe and moving will miss a second paycheck in a row this Friday if Democrats refuse to open the government. Let me be clear to our incredible air traffic controllers across the country. President Trump and Republicans want you to get your paychecks. They want you to be paid. Please call on your Democrat senators and tell them to side with President Trump and Republicans to vote to reopen the government. Our nation's 4 largest airlines, United, Delta, American, and Southwest, have now all endorsed the Republican, nonpartisan, clean funding bill to end the government shutdown. Major unions, collectively representing tens of thousands of pilots, have also joined the airlines in calling on Democrats to pass the clean, nonpartisan CR. The travel industry is also imploring Democrats to end the shutdown and reopen the government. Nearly 500 companies and groups in the travel business, including casinos, hotels, and convention bureaus, signed a public letter warning that America's travel economy has already lost $4 billion due to this Democrat shutdown, and they have called for the Republican CR to be passed, saying Americans expect and deserve a fully functioning federal government during the peak holiday travel season. Never before have we seen private industry and union leadership so unified on the same issue, rallying behind Republicans in such a vocal way. The Democrats have completely lost the plot. They are endangering the safety, prosperity, and livelihoods of millions of Americans. It's well past time Democrats do what they did 13 times under Joe Biden and pass the clean funding bill extension. All we need are 5 Democrat senators to put country over party and vote to end this reckless shutdown. We are now
I still can't believe that there's not 5 Democrats who are willing to cross the aisle to get this thing resolved. Mark Wayne Mullen, 9 hours ago, Senate Democrats blocked the 14th vote to end the Schumer shutdown. Final vote, 54 to 44. It takes 60 votes to pass a funding bill unless there's a change to the filibuster. And there it is. Voting no. Oh, and it looks like David Hogg decided to show up on CNN today. I'll get to that in a second, but here's the warning that was just issued. Major warning, U.S. airspace operations may be suspended if the federal government shutdown continues.
The entire reason the government is not open right now is because Democrats refuse to be complicit in having millions of Americans, including 100,000 in Kentucky, your home state, if I'm remembering correctly, Scott, that rely on ACA, that would see their premiums rise several
which you can deal with separately. It doesn't have to be, those two things do not go together.
But the way that they're doing this right now, they're combining both.
Voting to support the budget still doesn't, if you keeping it closed doesn't fix the ACA. The ACA needs to be reformed. Healthcare needs to be reformed. This is a way bigger question.
You guys failed at that last time. The whole thing was repeal and replace. You had a trifecta. You tried this. You failed.
David, that's not true. They're still in the concept of a plan stage.
No, in terms of
they've been in the concept stage since 2000.
But David, you would admit that the ACA was a Democrat legislation, yes? And you would admit that the subsidies that we're talking about now were passed by Democrats, yes? And you would admit that the sunset provision in the subsidies, which comes up at the end of the year, was in place because of Democrats, yes? Now you want to make it a Republican problem. These are not the same issues. You could open the government today, and then you could negotiate with with Republicans about ACA. So, and by the way, my suspicion is, and you know this, there are probably, and I know there are some House Republicans that would love to negotiate on it, but under duress, under a hostage-taking situation, connecting disconnected issues, and now you're throwing SNAP onto it. You're throwing all the federal workers who aren't being paid onto it, all because of this fight that you wandered into because of your wing of the Democratic Party. You all led to this SNAP crisis. You all led to this crisis of the government being closed, and you don't know how to get out of it.
The entire reason the government is not open.
Oh, he got smoked. He got smoked. Let's see. I wanted to find, let's see. Here we have, here's Fetterman going nuclear. Travelers at the Newark airport on the impacts of the government shutdown.
For these guys, just the delays, to be in the airport for 10 hours, just waiting. I feel sorry for these guys. Congress shouldn't get paid. That's who shouldn't be paid.
These two sisters, one from Colorado, the other from Vermont, meeting up at Newark International Airport Monday for a long-planned trip to Belgium. Consider not traveling because of what's happening?
Yes, but this is my sister.
Hello.
And we live far away from each other, and we had planned this for a while, and I want to see my sister.
Just the delays, to be in the airport.
Delay after delay. Here it is. Secretary Duffy.
Second paycheck. The controllers got 90% of one payment, 80 to 90% of one payment. They missed the second paycheck. On Thursday, they get an email pay stub that'll show what their next payment is going to be. So this Thursday, they'll get an email that shows that their pay stub is a big fat zero. Many of the controllers said, a lot of us can navigate missing one paycheck. Not everybody, but a lot of us can. None of us can manage missing two paychecks. So if you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos. You will see mass flight delays. You'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers. The controllers got 90.
Closing the airspace. That's what's happening right now. Here is Speaker Johnson 10 hours ago about circumventing Chuck Schumer.
And evidence speaks for itself. So we're going above the heads of the so-called leadership, and we are appealing to the consciences of a handful of people in the Senate who want to do the right thing and just stop the pain for the American people. And we pray that today is that day. Maybe tying for the longest shutdown in history is something that they can claim as some sort of success. But it's sickening. It's sickening to see a political game being played. We're not playing a game here. We never were. Back on September 19th, to remind you all again, we passed a clean, nonpartisan CR that's 24 pages in length, had not a single Republican priority on it. Why? Because we did it in good faith, because we didn't want this eventuality to occur. We knew it would be too painful for the people, and that's why we've always done the right thing, as everyone has said over and over. Now they won't, and we all know why. Yes, sir.
And that bill failed again in the Senate. Here is Senator Fetterman, the lone voice of reason in the Democrat Party.
Well, why won't Schumer do it? I mean, you voted to open the government.
Well, I mean, I really kind of led the charge back in March about, keeping our government open. And I thought I might be the only Democrat. And there was enough people back in March. And I said, I'm going to be right there in September when this comes back. And if I'm the only Democrat, I'll still be there because it's wrong to shut our government down.
Does Schumer hate you for this?
No, of course he doesn't. He doesn't hate me. We might disagree with it right now. And where I'm here tonight to have a conversation because I'm going to have a conversation with the other side. And that's where I'm at. And I'm going to show up and talk to anyone that invites me to be here because we really need each other. And I want to have, and one other thing I refuse to do as a Democrat, I'm not going to call you a fascist or a Nazi. I'm not going to compare anyone to Hitler or anything. That's wrong. And if you resort to that thing, you've lost the plot. It's because if you call him a fascist, then you have to think, well, maybe the people that vote for him, and I know people that love for him, is a fascist. That's just not true. And I know people that voted for the other side, and they're not trying to destroy our Constitution.
Well, why
won't... Wow, Fetterman, man, for the win. Secretary LCD.
That we have, the future of the American economy is on my shoulders, on this administration's shoulders, and the Democrats have stopped all the momentum that we have put in the last 9 months. Registered apprenticeships, the future workforce. Not only are we hurting the current...
So this is Lori Chavez DeRemer, the labor secretary.
...workforce, it's the future workforce. We are trying to educate our young people. We're trying to register 1 million active apprentices across this country. We had almost 250,000 registered, and now that has come to a screeching halt. We're trying to educate our young Americans on AI. Pilot approaches for workforce challenges in AI, the uncertainty. American workers deserve to know that they are going to have a job in this country, and the Democrats have chosen to play those political games. But many of our efforts have been stopped. 13 times they had an opportunity to say yes, just like I did, just like my colleagues have done. Enough is enough. President Trump has done his job. Not only has he leveled the playing field with tariffs, not only has he welcomed great trade agreements, he has worked most recently with South Korea and Japan to bring hundreds of millions of dollars back to this country for the shipbuilding trades. I have been working around the clock to make sure that we can protect our national security for this country, and now that has also come to a stop. We are hurting.
Shipbuilding coming to a stop. John Kennedy says this is an ego-driven shutdown. Senator Schumer's poll numbers led to this goat rodeo more than any policy did.
The negotiation. This is an ego-driven shutdown. It's politics. Here's what happened. The country was rocking along, minding its own business. Our budget ran out at midnight. We knew it was going to run out. So we've been talking to the Democrats about just extending the negotiations for a new budget for 6 or 7 weeks. No strings attached. Just let's keep talking, but keep the government open. And the Democrats stepped up and said, we will vote no. We're going to shut her all down unless you give us $1.5 trillion. And we're going to tell you how to spend it. Well, I mean, our heads snapped back. And I thought, my mama did not raise a fool. And if she did, it was one of my 3 brothers. And I'm not voting for this. And every Republican said, are you kidding me? So that's why we're in a shutdown. It's really about... But it's not about the money. It's also about politics, which I'll be glad to go into if you want.
Apart from the shutdown, what else is irredeemably stupid in Washington?
Well, common sense is illegal. And the problem you've got, and I'll tie it again to the shutdown. This shutdown will not end until 60 U.S. senators take their egos out back and shoot them. Right. Because this is all ego-driven. For example, It's not all his fault, but he deserves a lot of the blame. Senator Schumer is worried about his personal politics in New York.
With AOC nipping at his heels.
I mean, his numbers, his poll numbers for his reelection are on a journey to the center of the earth. The loon wing or the progressive wing or the socialist wing, whatever you want to call it, of the Democratic Party is mad at him. They don't love him. Chuck wants them to love him. They'll never love him. And
no one's ever going to love him. Here's President Trump's post on Truth Social 10 hours ago. SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars manyfold during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office due to the fact they were haphazardly handed to anyone for the asking, as opposed to just those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do, and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is only getting worse by the day. And can you believe this now? We're already seeing a bomb threat, too. A bomb threat at a plane at Reagan International Airport. All flights halted. So you got bomb threats at airports, TSA guys walking off the job, UPS planes falling from the sky. Still don't know what caused it. Some are saying mechanical. But could it be related to the shutdown? Just a few hours after the press secretary says the planes are going to fall from the sky, that's what Democrats want. If you got value from this report, tab subscribe. My final thought is next. So here's what this means for you and your family. Democrats have weaponized the entire federal government against the American people. They're literally starving families on food stamps, threatening air travel safety, planes stuck on tarmacs, UPS planes crashing, and they're destroying federal workers' lives, all to prevent Trump from fulfilling his mandate. This is not politics anymore. It's economic terrorism. They couldn't beat him at the ballot box, so now they're trying to make the country ungovernable. The question every American needs to ask tonight is simple. Should Democrats face criminal charges for deliberately harming millions of citizens through the shutdown? Yes or no? Let's have a conversation in the comments, because at some point using human suffering as a political weapon crosses the line from opposition into sedition. And folks, we've crossed that line 36 days ago. If you want to support our work here, check out our merch shop. Linked in the description. Real patriots wear their values with pride.